All right, welcome back to another product demo here. My name is Nathan with everyreitool.com, and today I'm kind of like a kid in a candy store because this is one of my favorite tools, and I'm super excited to have with us today Anton from DealCheck. Anton, how you doing?
Doing great, Nathan. Thanks for having me. Excited to be
Absolutely.
here.
Yeah, super, super cool. Thank you so much for your time. So let's hop in here because, like I said, I'm super excited. Might be visible. Hopefully, I won't get my camera to move too much while I move around like an excited kid here. But Anton, tell us about DealCheck. What is it? What's the elevator pitch?
Sure. So, DealCheck is a tool that we've built to help investors analyze properties. That's kind of been the main goal, and we've built a whole suite of tools to help you both find great deals, whether you're looking for rental properties, BRRRRs, your buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeats, flips, multifamily buildings, commercial properties, wholesale tools. So pretty much any type of real estate project that you're thinking about investing, what we've done is we've built a platform that you can use online or on your phone if you're driving around or traveling to help you analyze properties. So this includes helping you see what your acquisition costs are going to be, how your financing is going to affect your profitability, what your cash flow is going to look like for rental properties, what your profit is going to look like for flips. And then from then, there's other things like looking up sales and rental comps to help you understand what the ARV of the property is, what your potential rent is going to be, and all the way to helping you put offers together to sellers with our reporting and offer calculator features. So these are tools to help you calculate your maximum allowable offers, put together presentations for your buyers or your investors or your partners.
Yep, fantastic, super feature rich, and I'm excited to hop into the demo later on because we'll go through all of those and go over all of those. It's such a packed, full of feature, product here. Who would you say DealCheck is typically for?
Our primary user base is kind of individual and I would say small to medium size investors. So these are folks both who are just starting out. Maybe you're just interested in real estate investing and would like to buy a few properties, all the way to maybe you have a few dozen properties or even 50 units, like a lot of our users, and you're just looking to buy more and you need an efficient tool to help you analyze, many properties a week.
Yeah, and the flip to that question, I guess, is who is this not for? And you touched on this a little bit, but who would you say this is not a tool for?
Yeah, I would say if you're kind of a larger institutional investment firm, maybe you have a whole acquisition team, you're a larger company, you guys are buying huge commercial products. It's just likely that those types of folks will probably have their own deal analysis software that's highly customized to their pipeline. And it's probably not going to be the best fit, although you can fully analyze commercial and mixed use and other projects with DealCheck if you're just looking to like get a few under your belt as an individual investor.
Yep, and as you're well aware, I'm sure, right there are tons of deal analyzers and property analysis and property search tools out there, right? What would you say DealCheck does better than the other tools out there?
So we've been around since 2015, and so quite a while. And I would say throughout that whole time, our main focus has been on specifically property analysis. And what that helped us do is developed an extremely customizable calculator, if you want to call it that, that supports different acquisition strategies, creative financing. We're talking about dozens, if not over 100 different strategies you can analyze. So we've kind of allowed you to customize almost every little detail of the deal that you're looking at, because many real estate deals are very unique. It's not just kind of cut and dry rental properties. And over the years, we've really focused on property analysis, deal analysis, help you dive into the financial projections. And I think because we're not kind of too interested in, I don't know, community building or social media or, like kind of other stuff that some platforms have, this helped us build, I think, one of the best, if not the best, property analysis products on the market in North America today.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more because the testament there, I guess, is, I went from like many people when I started using my own spreadsheets and
Yep.
simple and then adding to them and, liking your own spreadsheets, building them out to be exactly tailored to what you want. And I've given all of those up now and pretty much exclusively use DealCheck myself.
That's
So
good
it
to
is,
hear.
yeah, it's very complete. I'm obviously, like I said, a big fan of it, but I use it every single day. So I know how powerful it is. And last question here before we hop into the demo, and for everyone watching this, make sure you stick around because we'll be talking about referral links and promo codes at the end of the demo here. But what is the price point on this puppy?
So you can actually start using DealCheck 100% for free. It's not a free trial. It's not like a kind of sample. We have a free forever plan that's geared towards those people just starting out. Maybe you're analyzing one or two properties a week or a month, something like that. So smaller scale beginner investors. You can either go to dealcheck.io and start using our web version on your computer or laptop, or you can download the DealCheck iOS or Android app and just start using it on your phone. And then we do have a few upgrade options. They're very reasonably priced. Our highest plan costs about $20 a month, which is like a few cups of coffee. So we've purposely kept our pricing, very reasonable because we don't want to price people out of this tool. We actually want folks to use it. And I know firsthand when you're kind of a beginner real estate investor, maybe you're trying to improve your financial situation. You don't have hundreds of dollars to just dish out a month. So we've kept our pricing very reasonable. And I know specifically for RAI tools, listeners or viewers, we do have a unique discount code, so it's UNDOOR, UNDOOR, and if you use that code when you're purchasing one of those premium plans, you will get 20% off your subscription forever. It's just a little added benefit that we give to RAI tool members, so that'll bring your pricing down to to less than $20 a month, which I think is very reasonable for the suite of tools and features that you get.
Yeah, totally agreed. I think, every single time I talk about DealCheck to people who are getting started and looking for the right tool, I think one of the first things that I say is how reasonably priced it is, right? And that it won't break the bank. So
Absolutely.
awesome. So with that, if you could pull up maybe your screen share here and start walking us through a demo, and then we'll see all of the great stuff that this tool has for analyzing properties.
Absolutely. Let's get that going here.
Awesome.
All right, so I'll just kind of briefly show our website and homepage, touch on some of the things we just went over with Nathan. So again, if you want to get started using DealCheck online, just head over to dealcheck.io. You can learn more about our features, our pricing, kind of the different scenarios that we support analysis of. Again, it's rental properties, Airbnbs and other short-term rentals, BRRRRs, flips and rehab projects, multifamily commercial buildings, wholesale deals, and within each of those categories, like I mentioned earlier, we've built a lot of different ways to customize each deal, whether it's creative financing or maybe you're doing house hacking. So there's probably kind of a dozen sub scenarios within each of these categories that you can analyze as well. And then if you do kind of prefer using your phone, we've always supported our iOS and Android apps with kind of all of the features that you get online. So these are not kind of downscaled apps or just a subset of features. If you get our mobile app, you will get all of the same features you get online, and we have full support for our mobile products. So actually, a lot of people exclusively use our mobile apps. If they're traveling a lot, if you're doing open houses, if you're just kind of on the road a lot, and you're not the type of person to bring your laptop or computer, I would highly recommend getting the iOS apps and starting property analysis that way. And again, we already mentioned pricing. Free forever plan. That's a great place to start. I would honestly recommend everybody start there. When you create your DealCheck account for the first time, you'll be automatically on this plan, and this plan will probably take you, pretty far in your investing journey. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's fully supported. All of our kind of tools most of our core tools are available. And then for, $10 or $20 a month, you can get more features as your portfolio grows, as you become a more sophisticated investor, maybe your volume increases. And don't forget that UNDOOR promo code if you want to get 20% off of any of these pricings forever. So jumping into our kind of application, this is our little demo account that I'll log in and showcase a lot of the features of DealCheck. And again, all of this is available online, laptop or desktop computer, or through the mobile app. Same features are there. So one of the first things I like to point out that's kind of unique, and I haven't seen it too much, is this property template system that's out here in the settings. So what this allows you to do is actually create templates or kind of like your basic settings that you like to use for different types of properties. For example, here we're looking at our rental templates, and I have a cash purchase or a conventional financing template, right? So by going in and creating these templates with your default financing, kind of your purchase or closing costs, your typical rehab budgets, where you can itemize and kind of break down what you like to do on rehabs, for example, for flips or even for burrs. Your typical expenses, like maybe you have a preferred property manager, their rate, you have some sort of assumptions for maintenance or CapEx that you like to use for a lot of your properties. Once you customize this and kind of save this, you can use this template to literally analyze a property in less than a minute. And that's not an exaggeration. And it's one of the reasons why we build this system is because we have folks that analyze, dozens of properties a week, sometimes a day. And by having different templates for different strategies, different categories of property, sometimes even different markets, or neighborhoods, like here we have an extensive rehab template for a flip versus a cosmetic rehab. It just allows you to analyze properties that much quickly, because when you create a property, you can select the template. That saves you so much time. You don't have to go through and that enter every number.
Yeah, that's actually one of the features and one of the reasons why I dropped my spreadsheets, because I analyze deals every single day. And it used to be very manual and time consuming to, find my property on Zillow or whatever it is, bring it into a spreadsheet, and then having 3, 4, 5 different tabs for that same property to run the different scenarios depending on your financing and down payments and all of that. So I went in and did exactly what you just showed here, is save these templates, and now I can import them and compare them in the tool, which I'm sure you're going to go over. But that's one of the main reasons I moved over to this and use this exclusively now.
Absolutely, and it's a way to stay organized, right? So I started with Excel as well back when I was first analyzing properties, and I was in the same boat as Nathan. I'll have different versions of an Excel sheet. I will make a change in one and then not remember to make a change in the 10 other versions that I had, and different tabs, and it just got so convoluted. Whereas with a tool like DealCheck, and here we are kind of looking at your property list. Where you can quickly search for properties, you can quickly add tags to them, which are kind of folders that allows you to organize them better. Maybe by status or by area where they're located. You can sort them by different fields. It just allows you to stay organized, especially if you do analyze a lot of properties, or maybe you just want to come back to a project that you looked at a month ago. You're not digging for that Excel spreadsheet that you buried somewhere. You can quickly come back here, look it up and see like, hey, yeah, I remember this property. Maybe it came back on the market again, so let's rerun the numbers. So templates is a great kind of thing to look at when you're first, building out your DealCheck account and getting started. Another thing I like to point out is our purchase criteria feature. So what this does is, you may have seen these little check mark or kind of X icons. And this is another tool we've built to help you quickly weed through a lot of deals. Maybe your agent sent you 10 properties on the MLS that just popped on the market, and you're like, okay, well, how do I pick out the one or two that actually make sense for me to look at further? And our purchase criteria feature was built exactly for this. What this allows you to do is set up the specific investment targets that you're looking for. So for example, this is rental property criteria. you may be interested in the 1% rule, the 50% rule. You have a minimum cash flow of 150 per month, a target cap rate, and these are just the ones I have selected. There's over a dozen here: cash on cash return, ROI, pretty much any metric that's important to real estate investors you can enable as a criteria, and you can specify an exact value that you're targeting as a minimum. And then once you set that up, anytime you analyze a property, any new property you add will pretty much be graded, if you will, against that criteria, and it will tell you exactly like, hey, this property, it passes all of your criteria, so it's probably worth looking into further. Another one, it'll tell you exactly, maybe the cap rate is too low, it doesn't pass the 1% rule, and you can say, well, you know what, I'll probably park these a little bit and focus on the ones that make sense now. So another great feature to set up before you add your properties to just help you quickly weed out the garbage or just the deals that don't make sense and focus on the ones that do. So once you do that, once you have that set up, I would say that's kind of like the two preliminary things that I like to recommend everybody at least visit before starting to analyze properties. But when you're ready to go, actually adding a new property to your account is super simple. You click the plus button. Here's where you can select those templates that we went over. Again, this will apply all of those settings directly to this property, so you don't have to customize them. And then we give you several options for entering property. You can do it manually, of course. Our probably most popular one is the import property data, which allows you to just quickly type in the address right in the search field. It auto completes it for you. And it will search through a large database of property records and pretty much pull in all of the information you will see on the MLS or a listing website like Zillow, so you don't have to type any of that in. This includes, property type, bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage. It will give you several valuation estimates, so these are pretty much your ARV values that you can look at. For example, one that we calculate ourselves using our proprietary AVM formula, a Realtor.com estimate, a rental estimate, property tax information, photos, just kind of the basic information to get you started so you don't have to enter it manually. And then once you click add property, you're technically, if you set up your template, you're technically done, analyzing. You have your analysis right in front of you. It took all of that information that we just imported, the property features, its ARV, its rent values, and it took you right to the analysis page using the template that you selected. And that's kind of where the speed of DealCheck really comes in, because once you get going, you can put in a property address, click import, you have the property analysis, you have your criteria that was immediately set up for you, based on your target investments. And then you can dive into these numbers and actually see what your acquisition, your operating income, and all of that stuff will look like. Now, if you do need to customize any of the parameters for the property away from your template, or maybe there's something specific, or you just want to override it, it's all available for you. If you go to the purchase worksheet page, that's kind of the central page where you can update your financing that you're going to use. You can set up all of your closing costs. You can set up your rehab. Maybe this, every property will probably be a little bit different. So even if you have your template, you can update the numbers of what you need to do for this one. How many windows you need to replace, does the roof need replacing. You can add any cost, help you itemize and track your rehab. Your rent was already imported, but if you would like to override it, it is right here. Vacancy, all of your operating expenses, probably one of the most important parts of the worksheet for rental property specifically. You can, check the property taxes, insurance, management, maintenance. Everything is kind of up to what you would expect. And if it's different from your template, you can update it right here. And then all the way down to like your long-term projections, your depreciation settings. Again, these will be specific on your market, your neighborhood, obviously where you live, and your tax situation. And then anytime you do that, all of your property analysis will get instantly updated. So The property analysis section, it's kind of like your snapshot of what this deal will look like for you. It will show you what your purchase and rehab is going to look like, all the way to how much cash you need. Here, for example, we're not using financing, so pretty much the full price of the property is due up front. Another example, where we do have financing enabled, break down what your down payment is going to be, what your purchase and rehab costs, how much cash you actually need to come out of pocket, your loan information, your kind of basic property valuation, all the way down to your cash flow. You know exactly how much rent you're going to make each month, minus your vacancy, your operating expenses, all the way down to your cash flow and post-tax cash flow. So this is kind of obviously your basic breakdown for a rental property, as well as all of your investment returns and financial ratios. We show all of the ones that pretty much an investor may be interested in. Maybe you like focusing on cap rate, other people like the cash on cash return. It's all here. And again, if you have that purchase criteria enabled, it will kind of give you a quick readout right at the bottom that everything passed, or if something didn't pass, which one specifically failed. And then another great feature that we've built, DealCheck, and this is specifically to help those just starting out that maybe are unsure of what the different returns or ratios mean, how they're calculated. Is you'll see there's these little question mark icons pretty much next to every metric we calculate, almost every input, every important line or number will have one of these. And if you hover over it or click on it, you will get the definition and the exact calculation formula for absolutely each metric. And there's actually a built-in glossary right in DealCheck on mobile or on the web that kind of gives you a little bit of explanation for what this term is, how it's typically used, how it's calculated, and we do this for every single metric, every term. And the investors that are just starting out, they absolutely love this, because they reach out to us and they say, hey, I really didn't know, people were saying like, hey, this is a cap rate. And I had no clue what a cap rate really meant. I focused on some metrics while there's other ones that potentially are much more valuable or important as an investor. And by kind of looking at the glossary and reading into it and actually understanding how it's calculated, because we don't want to just throw numbers at you like I've seen, a few other, I guess, property analysis tools or calculators do. We actually want you to understand what the numbers mean and then make smarter investment decisions based on that. And there's actually a link in our glossary to our blog where we've, I think for almost every single important metric, important analysis terms, we've written pretty detailed articles that kind of go into a very in-depth look at what it is, how it's exactly calculated with examples, what it can tell you, what are the positives, what are the negatives of that term. So I think if you'd like to dive into that and understand these metrics, those tools will be very valuable to you. So coming back to the analysis, there's also a kind of a buy and hold projection sections for rental properties. This is a great tool to look at how your cash flow, your investment returns, your equity buildup will look like over time. You can see that it starts us off at year 1 and goes all the way to year 30, where we can plan our exit strategies. See how our sale analysis, if we were to sell the property at a given year, would look like, how much our total profit would be. Including all the loan pay down and equity built up and property value appreciation, like all those different aspects that cumulatively contribute to the returns on investment properties. Some nice little graphs that you can see, again, how your equity and cash flow will change over time. And this is just for rental properties. Again, we support, full flip analysis. So for flips, obviously the analysis sections will look a little bit different, but you can see, again, we see our purchase and rehab section. For flips, we have a holding section, which is when you're actually doing your rehab, and you're going to have some carrying costs as well as your rehab costs and financing costs. You can quickly adjust your rehab period in case it's going to run a little bit longer. And then you see your final sale and profit when you actually finish the rehab, go to sell the property. You can see how much you sell it for, repay your loan. and then what your total profit and returns are going to be for a flip, with some profit projections that kind of give you a little bit of stress analysis on your holding period, meaning if you finish the rehab sooner or later, how is that going to affect your final profit as well as investment returns. So those are kind of our core analysis tools that I like to show. And then we have a few tools that I kind of touched on a little bit earlier in our call to help you with different aspects of analysis. So for example, we have comps built in right into our platform, both sales and rental comps. So obviously sales comps, if you're trying to figure out what the ARV of the property is, or maybe what the fair market value is just when you're putting in offers, this is a great tool to look at, the different ARV estimates that we provide and the actual sold comps in the area, which you can click on, view additional information, photos, kind of really dive into it if you'd like to see if this is a good comp or maybe your property is a little better or worse than this one. So we offer a lot of tools to actually customize and select which comps are included and not, and all of these ARV estimates will update in real time when you do that. Rental comps is very similar, but for rental properties. Obviously, when you're analyzing rentals, a very important figure to get right is what your gross rent is going to be. If you overestimate it, you might be a little bit of trouble because then obviously that's going to negatively affect your cash flow. And by looking at rental comps, actual what properties were listed for rent nearby, you can gain confidence in that estimate. And actually see I see these properties that are very similar that have been rented for the same amount. So that gives you more confidence in what you can rent your property for.
And while we're talking about rental comps, right? I think you guys are also the people behind rentcast.io, which is where this data is coming from, right? So another one of my favorite tools. Maybe we'll do another video, but I've pretty much stopped using any rentometer or Zillow estimates and moved exclusively to rentcast.io, which has so far historically been the most accurate for the markets that we invest in.
Absolutely, yeah. So that is another platform that we own and maintain, and probably better for a different video to dive into that. But yeah, all of our kind of rent estimates and value estimates, they are coming from the Rentcast platform in-house. It's a product that we've been working on for a number of years to really help you get better and accurate rent estimates with pretty much no work on your part. But again, if you do want to understand where the estimates are coming from or kind of customize them a little bit based on your knowledge of the area, the comp feature is a great way to do that. And another couple tools that I'll briefly mention. One that I really like is our offer calculator. Yep. This one probably works better for flips, I would say, or a little more valuable. So we'll jump really quick.
I use it all the time for
rentals as well.
Rentals, yeah. And a lot of the students that we talk to when you're getting started, I find it extremely helpful because after you've set up your templates, if you get that little red X, right, like we've seen in the property list, it's so easy for somebody getting started to just go to the offer calculator and see what they need to offer to get that to show up green.
Yeah. So part of, like Nathan was saying, if you have a property that's maybe pretty good, but maybe it fails some of your criteria, like for example, for a flip, maybe the profit is just not really there, right? Maybe you're targeting 25,000 and it's sitting right here, right around 23,000. So a typical question that comes up is like, well, how can I, what can I do with this property for it to meet my criteria? And a lot of the times, lowering the purchase price is the way to do it. And obviously, how do you do that? Well, you offer a little less than what the seller is selling it for. So this is a very cheap property, so it's not like these numbers may not be true for any market, but here we have a flip that's currently selling for 24,000. And what I can do with the offer calculator is go in and similar to my purchase criteria, but set up what criteria is my minimum. And when you first go to the offer calculator page, it will actually copy all of your purchase criteria over. So you typically don't have to do anything over here, but you can customize it. Again, here we have the 70% rule enabled, which is a common criteria used by flippers. We have a price per square foot and a total profit. And when you select those, what you'll see is it will immediately give you your highest offer. So basically the maximum price you can pay, that will satisfy your criteria. So in this case, instead of paying $24,000, if I offer $22,000, so $2,000 less on this flip, it will meet all of my criteria, and then it will pretty much be a good deal for me. So a lot of people that use our software, this is kind of like the final step. They go in here, if they find a property that they like, maybe some of the criteria is a little bit off, they go into the offer calculator like Nathan mentioned, they play around with, well, what would make this deal work for me? They get this highest offer price, and if you think it's reasonable, like in this case is $2,000 less, there's a high chance that the seller may accept this offer. If you come into the offer calculator and no matter what you do, it's kind of like 50, even 100,000 less than what it's currently selling for, it's probably not going to work out, right? You have to be realistic with what the seller will actually accept. But at this point, you're pretty much ready to put in an offer. You can go to your agent if you're using one, or if it's just yourself, you can take this figure, and you can give that as an offer to the seller. And you can be confident that if you do buy this property at that price, it will actually satisfy your criteria and it will meet your investment targets. And that kind of takes us to the last little bit of features that we offer that I like to mention is our reporting tool. What reporting tool allows you to do is take all of this information that we looked at, the property details, its photos, the maps, its analysis, calculations, projections, and put it into one click. People, it's funny because like agents and other investors reach out to me and they say, hey, we use your reports, and people think I spent like hours on this report, and I literally
had that happen to me a bunch of times.
Right, and they're like, man, this is a good report. I wonder how long did it take you to put it together, and I don't tell them that I come to DealCheck and click a button, and 2 seconds later I have the report. So obviously this is great for many purposes. If you're if you're an agent working with investors, you can help them present properties to them. If you have clients, like if you're a wholesaler, this is extremely popular with them. They use this to send investment presentations directly to their buyers. A lot of people send these reports to their lenders. If they have kind of a hard money lender that likes to see all the financials on a deal before they fund it, this is perfect because it has absolutely everything in the report you may want. If you have partners, for example, maybe you're investing with your spouse or just other friends in an LLC or some sort of partnership, and you're the one kind of analyzing and doing the grunt work, but you need their sign off before a property is purchased, this is a perfect tool. So whatever your reason is, if you'd like a report that contains all of the comps, all of the information that we went over in one complete package, this is absolutely perfect. Because you can create it with one click. You can add your branding. As you can see, I have a little logo. I have my little information here. Again, great for like wholesalers or agents. You can even fully white label it. So if you don't want the DealCheck branding to show at all, we offer features for that so that they will never know who made the report. So great way, and there's an online version of this as well. So if you kind of click this interactive report link, it will, you can send that instead of the PDF. So a lot of people love this as well. You can post this on your website, just email it. And if you want the folks to have like a little bit more interactive a report where you can, download and share it and play with the maps a little bit, play with some of the projections. Yeah. And they don't need an account to view this, right? So this is public. This is a great feature as well. So I think this was, that's kind of, there's a few other features, you can compare properties side by side. There's a lender directory and a few other stuff that I'll let you guys figure out on your own if you do use DealCheck. But again, our main purpose for the software has always been to, number one, focus on our core value proposition, which is property analysis. Really dive into allowing you to customize every single little input if you want to, right? You don't really have to, but if you want to customize and itemize, if you're a numbers junkie like me, you will really appreciate that because you can set it up and tailor it to exactly how you want the deal to be structured. And then building out these kind of other tools like comps and reports and the offer calculator to really take you from, hey, I have this property, it will maybe work for me, to diving in and analyzing how that property will work for you, what acquisition, what financing you can use, all the way to you putting an offer, sending a report to somebody, and basically at that point, like closing the loop and helping you buy it. So, again, you can head over to DealCheck.io or download our DealCheck mobile app to get started, and you'll be on the free account. So no trial, no credit card required. And we'll see you guys all there.
Awesome, Anton. I know you got to run, so I want to get you out of here. I could talk about this product forever because, and just to be clear, I have been a paying customer for many years, and I will continue to pay for this product because honestly, it's saved me countless hours. And helped us close on a bunch of deals. So big fan, obviously. Anton, thank you so much for your time today. As always, of course, we'll make sure everything is in the show notes here. But if you want to get your hands on DealCheck, you can always go to everyreitool.com/go/DealCheck, and don't forget to use the promo code UNDOOR to get 20% off. Anton, thank you so much for your time today. Appreciate you very much, and I look forward to having you on here again soon.
Absolutely, Nathan. Thanks for having me. We'll need to chat about Rentcast next.
Sounds good.
All right.